Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Kimbo here. I don't know, just decided to go in with a different intro. But it's time for an epic discussion video. So in this one, we are discussing on none other than Beyblade Burst Superking, or Beyblade Burst Sparking. So, most recent episode, man. What was it? Episode 36? Sometimes it's hard to remember. But, yeah, man. That being said, we still got a lot of episodes to go, honestly. Like, we still got a good, 16 episodes left, which is wild, man. We've already had so much storytelling and such with this season, but definitely got to see that all wrapped up in the last 16 episodes. We're going to do that for sure. But this most recent episode, get into it in 5 seconds. Out of respect to anyone who hasn't seen it, give you 5 seconds to click away. All right. So the most recent episode, having honestly a shock, like seeing this myself when it actually happened, even in the preview for this episode, I was shook. So many thoughts went through my head because I was sitting there like, wait, what? It's him. He's here. But manga, oh my God, this is wild. This late, new wyvern, bunch of other stuff. Like, it's wild. Just thoughts going back and forth like crazy. But that being Wakia returning with this episode, dude. We haven't seen Wakia since season 2. And now he is one of the big reps of the WBBA, which is so cool. That definitely opens up like some possibilities for some things. So the first thing being that Wakia being back, it could mean in the future possibly we could see a new wyvern, which I would love to see that, man. That would be absolutely epic if we get to see that. But basically in this episode, we just get to see him. He introduces us to the virtual reality. It's basically showing off like Bay Camp, which is the new app that they have in Japan, for Beyblade Burst. And it's really cool because it's like a virtual reality type of app. You launch your bays, they can identify what bay it is, who owns it, just by looking at it and such, and then it simulates a battle, which is so cool, man. You can see the effects around the bays. It's honestly a pretty sick app. It would be cool if Hasbro does do that, like something like that over here. That way we can have that game to play. Because that would be really awesome, like a virtual reality mode for the Beyblade Burst app. That would be honestly really sick to see. Yeah, dude, we got to see the battle. There was a battle between Hikaru and Hyuga versus Vault and Lane. It was a digital battle, of course, but the system got overridden. We got overloaded because of the power of all the bays hitting one another and kind of crashed. But at the end of it, you see it a little bit before it actually fully crashes. Hyperion and Helios got sent out, so that simulation's even saying that they'll lose to them at this point. So it's obviously building up Hikaru and Hyuga because now they have Helios, Volcano, and Hyperion burn. As this season goes along, we're gonna be seeing them beat some of our favorite characters. It's gonna just happen, because plot and them getting stronger and now having limit break system bays. It's not saying the other characters are weak. I never understand why people are like, oh, this character lost. They're just weak. In Beyblade, nobody wins forever. And that's honestly the thing. No one wins forever. We all have our good days. We all have our bad days where we get whooped. Some good days where we're doing really awesome. That's just a part of the game. And that's how the game goes. It still remains the same for the show. You got some absolutely really powerful characters with the show, but still, we'll see them lose at points. I mean, we saw Vault lose to Lane the last time they faced off. So, we've seen Shu recently lose to Lane because he has Lucifer Diendo, But yeah, it just happens, man. But still, the setup is going to be really awesome for the rest of the season. So Wakia now being in the fray of things, is going to make things that much more interesting. And the crazy thing being the preview for this next episode. So battles happening, of course. I think it's like Hikaru and Rantaro battling together. But we see a silhouette at the end. Basically, not a crazy silhouette. It's somebody walking up to a door, which is definitely hinting at them dropping someone in this. Someone new that we haven't seen thus far coming into it. Why would they make such a big build-up for that? So I'm sure everybody, their mom, dad, cat, dog, and pet chicken have heard this, but the new random booster coming out this month, the very end of this month, actually around Christmas. Um, the bay in it for the silhouette looks a lot like a very familiar bay. That being Death Scyther, man, because it has these three huge notches on the side, and then this really smooth part, which resembles like the Scyther blade of Death Scyther. So, maybe getting a new Death Scyther with this. So hyped about that. That leading to who we could see. Possibly Dinah, man. It could be the mysterious person for the next episode, could be Koragami Dinah. But who knows? TT's throwing some swerves. They love throwing swerves in with things. So people making out that being Death Scyther, it's automatically assumed to be Dinah. Imagine they make it where it's someone else besides Dinah. Who knows? It could be Dinah. It could be like and I know like people say, oh, his name's Daigo, like Dinah in Japan, Daigo in the US. Same person, different name, tomato, tomato. Way too picky about that, honestly. But, it could be, what was it? His little brother. Possibly a little brother. Dinah's little brother. That would be crazy if he was the one that owned it, because now he's older now. Like how Kit had to glow up and he kind of just grew up and, had Air Knight. Something like that. Or if it is Dinah, time will show. But yeah, man, regardless, the new Death Scyther, really, really hyped about that. And this next random booster, really just want to see like some parts we haven't seen a ton of. Like, in general, some color combos or recolors for parts we haven't seen much of, like Rage, Mirage, those being two big ones. I don't know if they'll do World because it does seem a little early. Same thing for Infinite Achilles. We've gotten a recolor for Curse. We've gotten a recolor, I think, for Glide. I think we have. Well, besides, like, we got two of them, because, like, the White Glide, Ragnarok, But just some, like, recolors for some other parts we haven't seen that much of. Like, Tempest, we don't have a recolor for, or anything. And then also some dash drivers we haven't seen before. Like, Iron Dash, Sword Dash, Impact Dash. I know I say them a lot, but they'd be awesome to see. They switch up things big time. Even the same thing for, Trick Dash, because it switches up so much in battle, but having that dash driver to where it can take that recoil, that would be sick, man. I'd love to do that. I'd love to use Trick Dash if Trick Dash became a thing, because it's just so unpredictable. You can't predict it. It literally switches up between attack, defense, and stamina in the middle of the battle. And that'll be amazing to see as a dash driver, because it would make it that much more wild for some combos. And you can make really fun combos with that. But yeah, man. Big time open doors with this, and also with an apparent 6th season coming. It's not known if it's like an extension for Superking or if it's a completely new season, which odds are it's probably gonna be a completely new season, But just imagine, what is TT gonna do for like the bays? How much can they even develop beyond what they're doing for Superking? Definitely, maybe some like limit break gimmicks type stuff, limit break gimmick stuff for the next season, because seeing that with Hyperion Burn, Helios Volcano, Lucifer Diendo, definitely making it where all these bays like getting some kind of gimmick like that, is that they get stronger as they battle, which would be really, really cool. I mean, that's the theme for like Koshidra, But yeah, it'd be really, really cool to see like that type of system. What system exactly TT's gonna use with it, time's gonna tell, man. But definitely with it, more characters coming back. Definitely want to see that, because we got some big surprises for this. If we get Dinah with this, who would come after? Because we still got January's releases and February's releases for Superking. At least those 2 months. March might be like the new series, because they usually drop the bays at the very end, and then they have the show start in April, and then we start getting releases from there. But it opens the door for so many characters, man. I don't know if we're going to get the crazy end. Like I've said it before throughout even this whole entire series, like a crazy end where we see the strongest evils throughout time, like Ashton, Theodore, Evel, Arthur, etc., joining on one team, and then all the good characters on like another team. I still really want to see that build up, and I hope that in season 6 we'd get that build up, because you got to beat out what you've done in the previous season. And even with this season, they're showing off Lane's power big time. I mean, considering he's beaten everybody he's faced thus far, but granted, some bladers he hasn't faced with variant Lucifer. But now he has Lucifer the End, and he's only faced Shu with it thus far, except for the simulation. If you count the simulation, then Aiga and, well, not Aiga, but Hyuga and Hikaru. only those two with it. So we got to see all those battles with Lucifer at the end, which is probably going to get really, really ugly and brutal with these battles, honestly. Because I see Lane with this, because that last battle he had against Shu, he was like, oh, like shook. Like he's like, I beat Shu. But then after that, he feels empty because it's like, what more can he do? He's set out on everything he's wanted to do. Even beat Shu. That was his main goal at the very end of all of it, was to beat Shu, and he just did it. Now he's just like, what? Now he's kind of irritated because he doesn't know his real reason for battling, kind of, it seems. But then he's going to start snapping big time with his flare. Like, he started to with Variant Lucifer at the end of it. We saw that. But now, really snapping, and then his ultimate goal to be the absolute strongest. That means obliterating anyone that stands in front of him. Like obliterating their base. Yeah, he got the burst on like Valkyrie and Achilles and Spriggan and such. But now it's going to be about destroying those bases. So I can imagine there being like a God Bladers Cup kind of tournament where we have these Bladers in it. Maybe some returning Bladers, like if we do get Dinah being in it. Get any other characters with this, because like I said, still Phi, Gwen, and Delta, I'm not giving up on them. Not giving up on them, man, especially with another season. But you can't tell me you don't want to see all these Bladers in like a giant tournament like this. If they're saving them for like the next season, so be it. That's fine. But yeah, we got to see them. We got to see them interact with these characters, because a lot of them are dream battles, because we haven't seen many of these characters face Phi, honestly, or Gwen, or Delta, even like Hearts. Who all has faced Hearts? Like Iga has, Vault has, Phi has. Is that about it? I think that's honestly about it. Like, we haven't seen like Hearts face Free, or like Louis, or a bunch of these other characters. You know what I mean? Like, you telling me you don't want to see that battle, like Hearts facing a lot of these characters? Same thing with Phi. Same thing with Gwen. Same thing with Delta. Same thing with Arthur. All these characters that you bring back. Even Zack coming in the fray of things now. Like, imagine Zack facing Free. Like, we haven't seen Zack since the first season. We haven't seen Xhaka since the second season. Bringing in these characters we haven't seen in a long time, man. Yeah, well, Xhaka we've seen in the third season. I'm going to correct myself with that. We saw him once. He battled with Buster Excalibur. Jean let him use Buster, but he was able to use it and bring out its full potential and power. So we got to see a one-off battle with him, but definitely Xhaka even coming back in the fray, because he's a definite powerful blader. Just definitely some stuff that I really, really want to see. I want to see these characters all come back in and truly show who's the absolute strongest. Like, you bring back the absolute strongest, all of them from throughout Burst history. Everybody's favorite characters, bring them all back for one season. Their bays are all at the maximum level, the ultimate level that they could ever be, because you put in like a limit break system gimmick with them. Like, come on, man. That would be absolutely sick. For the good characters and also the evil characters. Brings out the absolute fullest, and it's literally like the fate of the world at stake, because it goes that far. And it would if you have these evils like Evel, Ashton, Theodore, Arthur, etc. coming back in this. And also like WBBA, like how there is a WBBA versus Hell. It could be the WBBA versus this organization, because Arthur being a part of it and such, and these other entities being a part of it, which could force the hand of Wakia, and he could come back with a new Wyvern. Literally, the WBBA having to use all their resources in order to stop this entity, or the world's in trouble. I definitely want to see like a build-up like that. Will we get it during this season? Maybe not. They're obviously just focusing on Lane, and his flare and such, and whoever is strong enough to stop that flare. And the big question is, will Lane be good at the end of this season, or will he be evil? Will he still be evil at the end of the season? Because personally, if they have it where like Lane does turn good, like how Phi turned good at the end of Cho Z, definitely seemed like he did, because him and Hearts had a dialogue saying maybe we were wrong about a few things, and then Phi said perhaps, and he smiled at Hearts, like he has that connection with his brother again, and also realized the error of his ways. Definitely see him coming back as like a kind of Ryuga role type of character, where he's like an anti-hero, like a cool badass character that comes in and helps out every now and then, but we know he's strong. Same thing with Gwen. Gwen not knowing the reason for battling or such. And then finding it when facing Drum with Master Dragon bursting, Big Bang Genesis, and then Drum helping Gwen up, and then realizing things after that, really finding his reason for battling. Then we get Gwen back with the season. Same thing with Delta. Delta's clearly good because he helped Victories win. So enough said with that one. And I'll continue to say it. Death and Abyss Diabolos both feel like crazy placeholders. Like, that ain't an ultimate Diabolos, man. They don't feel like the ultimate Diabolos, Why not put Generate or Generate Dash on them? It would have made the most perfect sense. Instead of like Merge Dash and Fusion Dash, which granted they're Dash drivers and they're cool, but really, how are you going to go from Generate to Merge and Fusion? Like this crazy new gimmick driver. Just doesn't make any sense, right? But definitely got to see characters like this come back for this next season. That's what'll make my favorite even more so in this season. If I had favorite seasons out of Burst thus far, they're all up there because they're all so good. They're all so good. But there's one that's a little bit above the others. It'll be season 2 at the current moment. Just because, like, the development with, like, Ashton and then, Ashton Theodore, then the whole Snake Pit arc and such, and all the characters that came in, it was wild, man. It was amazing. And that's how you can even bring in, like, new characters. That shows how you bring in new characters, but make them this ominous and this awesome with the roles and such. Because Free was a new character in the second season, but he was also the number 1 blader. But, yeah, man. Definitely just things like that I want to see for sure. But, like I said, God of Revolution probably being the top. If there was a second, this would honestly be that close second because of all the interactions that we've had thus far with all these characters. Yeah, and it would be like a tie for the other seasons. Like, they're all just so good, man. Like, Cho-Z was still a really awesome season. Season 1, obviously, because of the nostalgia. And Rise, or GT, was still a really, really awesome season as well. Seeing Arthur and Gwen and such introduced with the fray of everything. But bringing back all these evils, all these goods, the most powerful from both sides with one season. Which we got big time amounts of that with this. Bringing it out to the absolute extreme. Like, everyone you could think of with the next season. And that being the way to cap it off, man. Because honestly, after this next season, I know I say it a lot. Like, I don't know if we're going to get another, season of Burst. But what more could you do after this? Unless there's, a full-out reboot where they pull, a Shogun Steel or Zero G. Where it's, 7 years or a bunch of years after these crazy world-destructive events. And then it's a new generation. You know what I mean? Like how we saw with MFB. But, yeah, time's going to tell. I just definitely want to see some big-time characters return for this. Lane's Flare going to the absolute limits and seeing how much he snaps with this season. And just how wild things are going to get, man. And some new parts, for sure. But, yeah, dude. We still got December's releases. And it's like I said before. Like, we got a transformation set with every season besides the first season. Like, we had Deep Chaos and Arc Bahamut with the first one in God. We had Cleo and Boa. That's how we got them. And then with Cho-Z, we got Orb Aegis and Cho-Z Spriggan. That's how we got Shu and how we got Evel. Their base. And then for GT, we had Prime Apocalypse and Regalia Genesis. And that's how we got Arthur and Gwen with it. So I won't be surprised if we get another set like that. I personally hope we do, because that's 2 more characters they could put in the fray of things. Because it's always 2 characters they bring in with those sets. So I definitely want to see that for sure. Like a Superking customized set. Just to get some recolors of some parts that we don't see a ton of. And a couple new bays. That would be absolutely amazing, man. Dropping that as well as the random booster, because they drop a lot in December. We know the random booster's coming. They could be having another thing. But we'll see on the 15th. Koro dropping within the next 2 weeks. So, yeah, big time hype. So, yeah, man. I guess that's everything for this discussion video. With Wakia being entered, some manga stuff could happen. And the one thing I really, really want to see is the scene where they're all sitting around the table, because it's so cool. And also in that scene, you have Zack, you have Xhaka, you have Dinah, Wakia's there as well. Phi's there, Gwyn's there, Delta's there. I think those are all the characters that are honestly missing from the season. Besides that, they're the characters we've seen thus far. Like Rantaro, Ranjiro, Aiga, Drum, Vault, Hikaru, Hyuga, everybody being there. Except for Free and Shu. And then there's also when Free's facing Lane. So it'd be wild if we got to see that. Like they're all around the table and then Free's off facing Lane. And then we see Lucifer at the end facing Mirage Fafnir. That's when we get the rematch. And then it turns out completely devastating. And he actually breaks Fafnir. Bro, I'd be heartbroken. I'd be like, not again, Free, not again. But yeah, dude. Just can't wait to see how the rest of the season's going to go. And I really hope they go down the manga route, with all those characters, because that would be absolutely amazing. That's one thing I really want to see. We saw it in the manga with all of the Bladers sitting around the table. I really want to see it in the show and all of them interacting with one another. But yeah, man. Anyways, that's it for this epic discussion video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to slice the ever-loving crap out of that like button down below. Let me know how I did. If you're new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe for some epic content because I upload daily. See, a lot of you guys aren't subbed. Definitely click that subscribe button. Join the army. Would love to have you here on the road to 70K. Totally honored, man, and definitely appreciate you sticking by and watching the video. And if you guys haven't already, be sure to ring that bell by my channel name to be notified whenever I upload a video. So, yeah, guys, we got a lot to look forward to with the rest of the season, even with the upcoming 6th season. It's going to be wild, dude. Making history. Not only a 5th season, but like a 6th season because Burst is that popular. It's wild, dude. But anyways, till next time, guys, it is your boy Kimbo signing off. See you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Until then, stay awesome. And cool, shoot, I'm up out of here.